Hello, I'm your host, Stevie Garofalo, Reason for Truth podcast. Reason for Truth, truth comes first, reasons come last, but we're always constantly learning. Listen, if we're not learning, we're not teaching, and we should be teaching and mentoring and discipling other people. But if we stop learning, we're not going to disciple and teach well. And we can always disciple people wrongly, badly, otherwise. I want to pick up today by just speaking about the dangers of putting too much emphasis or value in a human king. We talk about that actually. I hear from people. We have the discussions, and people say, make Jesus, make God the Bible, your God. They're absolutely right. We should always, if we are people of the Word of God and we subscribe to the Word of God, we take it seriously and we follow the Word of God before even the king, you see. Now, don't get confused with the Muslims who say that because they don't line up with the Constitution. So the king is here to uphold the Constitution, as the Congress is, and the Supreme Court. But our leaders, especially the king, the president, but also in our country, we have 3 points, right? The 3 I just mentioned that are accountable to each other. So the government in general, we're to be accountable and to do the right thing. But I think we often vote in king, or certainly congressmen, senators, Supreme Court justices, and certainly the president, make him the king, right? I guess the modern day equivalent of the king. How often do we pick shiny people that are very gentlemanlike, that that have nice suits, that are great orators, very charismatic, and man, I tell you one thing, maybe good looking. I tell you what. That's a dangerous place to be if that's all you got, right? And that's what's happening here in 1 Samuel. 1 Samuel, basically when Samuel kind of ruled over Israel, what happened is it pretty much was God was the leader. He was the prophet. He just maintained the order. But what happens is people did what? They insisted on a king. Matter of fact, they said, we want a king. That's what they said. We want a king just like all the other nations, just like everybody else. Why? Because we want to follow, not necessarily lead, and just be accountable to God. We want to be just like everyone else. We want the formalities. We want that leader. And from a human perspective, that makes sense. But from a biblical perspective, from a God-centered perspective, God is saying, aren't I not good enough? So you got Samuel here, and he says, Nahash, the king, the Ammonites, that were going to come against you, he said, but a king shall reign over us when the Lord your God was your king. That's in verse 12, second half. But here you go. Samuel's going to let him have it in the eyeball. But now, behold, the king who you have chosen, for whom you have asked, behold. And they didn't choose Saul. God chose Saul, but they asked for the king. That's what he's saying. So, from whom you have asked, behold, the Lord has set a king over you. If you will fear the Lord, number 1, and serve him, number 2, and obey his voice, number 3, not rebel against the commandments of the Lord, the 10 commandments, number 4, and if both you and the king will reign, and if both you and the king who reigns over you will follow the Lord, that means the king and the people, number 5, it will be well. Good. Just keep those 5 things going. You're going to be all right. But whenever you see a but, that's verse 15. That's kind of like listen up. If you don't, this is what's going to happen to you. But, verse 15, if you will not obey the voice of the Lord, but rebel against the commandment of the Lord, then the hand of the Lord will be against you. So God's saying, I'm not playing with you. If you want a king, this is what you got. But just understand, you and the king together, you can't be doing different things. You both got to be on the same page. The Lord will be against you and your king. So in other words, he's not only, you could say, it's typical Adam and Eve. Well, got Adam, it was Eve. Eve says it was a serpent. You got the same thing here. You can't have the king doing one thing or saying a different thing. You can't have, or the king doing one thing and the people doing another, right? So that's the importance of leadership. Leadership has to be highest level of integrity. If the leader's doing the right thing, but the people are rebelling, the king still has an obligation to do the right thing. And people all the time say, well, this is the right thing. No, the right thing is not decided by us. You see this in modern 2026 days with all the rebellion against ICE and all that. It doesn't matter. The king said, listen, we're just enforcing the law for immigration. Despite where you fall on that, that's the truth. I'm not embarrassed to say that. It's not a political statement. It's a biblical statement because we're called what? Right here and all over the Bible, especially in Romans, to follow the king. Do what he says. So if the law says, for example, like I just mentioned, that illegal immigration is illegal, right? That's by its very nature, then, you have to deal with that issue. And the king, if he's going to deal with it, then we have to respect that. Okay? Then the hand of the Lord will be against you and your king. So now, therefore, stand still and see this great thing that the Lord will do before you, before your eyes. It is not wheat harvest today. I will call upon you, the Lord. He will send thunder and rain, and you shall know and see that your wickedness is great, which you have done in the sight of the Lord. And asking yourselves for yourselves a king. God's pretty clear there. He's saying it was wicked to ask for the king in the first place. You see? Why? Because Israel had God. Man, can you imagine they had God right there? You always had a prophet, and yet we ask for a king. We don't do anything any different, folks, here today. I just listed all. You could go through this whole passage, and this is the second half of 1 Samuel chapter 12. We often want a king. We want a king that kind of takes care of things so that we can go enjoy life. We have to realize that as a moral people or as an immoral people, you find all of that in every single culture. You have some lawbreakers. You have some law followers. You have people who want to act morally, but the question is, what moral standard do they apply to? That's why all the multiculturalism really doesn't work, because if you got all these different countries and all these different world views going on, they all see things differently. They do. I mean, the Muslim they're pretty much command their own people in general, saying nothing's higher than the Quran. If you have a Muslim friend, ask them that. Say, is the Quran sit underneath the U.S. Constitution or the U.S. Constitution over the Quran? If they're honest, I can guarantee you 100% of the time they're going to tell you the Quran's above everything. As a Christian, we'd say the Bible. And that's fine. You know why? Because the Constitution comes out of biblical principles and biblical truth. There's no conflict there. So that being said, let's be careful. Look at New York, what they've got for a mayor. Right? Let's be careful what we ask in these upcoming elections. Some people, I had a friend call me, says, are you political? If this is too political for you and you're considering supporting us financially, that's fine. We don't need your support. Just saying. It's my friend. And I still love you as a buddy, but this is biblical. There's times where the Bible instructs us on how to live everyday lives. It does not exclude government and politics. We shouldn't be leading with that, but certainly where the Bible instructs, yes, we should be. And that goes for sexuality, that goes for business ethics, that goes for how to be a husband, how to be a wife, how to be a son, daughter. Boom, covers it all. It's the Word of God. It's amazing. So thank you for tuning in. I hope you will check out this second half of 1 Samuel chapter 12, second half. Go read through those verses. See for yourself. Be careful, because elections are coming up, midterms. I'm not telling you who to vote for. I'm just saying, go to the Word of God, let it instruct you, and then it'll help you discern a good politician from a bad one. Taking a job, a good boss from a bad boss. Now, when it comes to your parents, you don't have any choice. My buddy Michael says, you could pick your friends, you could pick your job, but you can't pick your parents. And you certainly can't pick your brothers and sisters. So we got to get along with them as well. And that's a good thing. So God's blessings to you. Hope you enjoyed this chapter. Hope it challenged you. I love to challenge you. That's why I did Reason for Truth. I could have done like sea biscuits or something soft, like soft puppy dogs. That's not our channel. So I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you tune in. God's blessings to you. Make sure you subscribe. I'm your host, Stephen Garofalo. This is your Reason for Truth for today.